Alrighty. Alrighty. Oof. Okay. Looking pretty yellow today. Is the camera going to adjust itself? Probably not. Oh, nope, there it goes. It's figuring out the white balance just a little bit. Make sure I tucker out my dog first before we go. White balance, come on. I don't want to look that yellow. Ooh, I can look really red. Or really blue. That's more accurate. I like keeping myself in the dark during these sessions. Alrighty. Where the hell's my mic? There it is. Okay, we're good. So, I got a number of projects in the works. You can see here in the TV screen, the main channel is Crafty Arts. That's where this current series of videos are going to go, actually. And there's the Weird Source channel for all your furry stuff. And if you really like me, there's a Patreon. Crafty Andy, $2 a month. I convinced one person. 999 more to go, and I can do this full time. That's right, 999 more people. That's all we gotta do is convince 999 more people to join in, and yeah, I'll be good to go. They say you need like 1,000 true fans, so that's what I'm gonna be looking for. With my 749 subscribers, come on, come on. Yeah, I know in reality I probably need at least like 20,000 to even come close to that possibility. But anyways, so first I guess I better start off with the video I want to get done the soonest, which is the idubbz video. I had a little contention whether or not I should even write this, but I couldn't help it. I feel like I would be missing out if I didn't do it, so... Here we are. Then we got the next video, which is important to me, the Demons Closing In. I just finished that art piece. I finished my Ratchet and Clank commission. That's all done. I'm going to show that off right now. Show it off right now. Yeah, there it is. Let's bring it over here. There it is. Yep. Good times. I'll just leave that up actually while we do this recording now. First I want to go to Facebook though. There's a few groups I want to post this to. I thought I was posting to them, but I guess not. Alright. Yeah. Okay, well I'll post it on my main page, but one of my relatives commented on it, and I'm like, oh shit. One of my relatives is watching my channel. Whatever. Just gotta deal with my shit. Oh, 148 followers on this page, huh? That's cute. Anyways, let's let's go to the groups that I'm part of here. Sounds like my fence is home. And this one. Whoops. Alright. Recording time. Oh, okay. Update my voice recorder, sure. Alright. Settings. And let's see. Can't do FLAC. What's AAC? Yes, man?
AAC's the, No, don't.
Don't?
That's the DRM Apple one that shits on the quality.
Okay.
It was the one pushed by the business dudes. Like MBA's being, we know tech better than you do. Perfect.
Alright, this looks like my best bet to wave. Alright. Best quality. Good. It's like my USB mic. Alright. So, first recording, let's do the idubbz thing, then we got other things I'm going to do at once here. That way I can get everything edited as soon as possible all at once. Alright. Where is it? That's in Google Docs. Let's put that over here. I'll probably just figure out what corrections to make as I do this, because this is only like a... I only usually do these types of scripts as like a first draft sort of thing. Oof, I gotta take a whiz. I'm gonna take a whiz.
Interesting. That's what has a spotty Wi-Fi. Press
Okay, eliminating outside noise. Let's do this. Let's do this reading. Anyone who comes across this, don't feel obligated not to interrupt. Alright. Let's do this. Okay. It helps with the headphones. Actually, will it help me to monitor my mic? Let's see. I don't think so. I don't know. I think it might just throw me off. I feel like it's throwing me off already. Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and these are my thoughts. idubbz has destroyed his career. Let's find out. All right, let's do it this way. Let's try doing it this way. I don't know. I just don't want to waste my time. That's my problem. Which leads me to wasting my time figuring out whether or not I want to even try this. So here we go. Let's try. Just want to bring the mic closer. Oh yeah. Sound settings. Just want to make the microphone just a little less sensitive. Let's try. Oh wow. Okay. I guess it's probably not ideal to be at that level. Maybe? Wait, I know what's going on. Let's turn down the open threshold. There we go. I think that might help. I wonder if this is, let's see if this is working out for me here. Let's see how it sounds and do a sound test here. Come on, bring up the stream. Tigran, hello. Let's turn down the open threshold. There we go. I think that might help. I wonder if this is, let's see if this is working out for me here. That doesn't sound too bad. Okay. Alright, let's try this. I don't know. I'm just not used to this echo, I guess. Alright, first video here. We got 3 we're gonna make. Oh my god, where the hell's the other one? Google Docs. There we go. Go to Docs. Alright. Start recording. What the hell? Why doesn't Tigran show up on here? Okay, I typed in hi on my chat program and it showed up on YouTube. So what gives? It says it's connected. Okay, there it goes. I guess it must have came before it opened. Huh, whatever. It's being weird. Okay. Yeah, it's sensitive enough to pick up my clicks. So I think it's turned up just enough. All right. So what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Let's try this again one more time. Let's eliminate that. Select all, delete. Select all, delete. Come on, delete. All right, fine. Delete, 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 delete. All right, 10 seconds of silence in place. Beginning in 3, 2, 1. Ah, hold on. Fuck. Yes. Larry count 3, 2, 1, and then my name gets called. That was great. All right. Let's try this again. All right, delete. Delete, delete, delete. 10 seconds. All right, again in 3, 2, 1. Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and these are my thoughts. A lot of people are crying and whining over the idubbz video. I miss the old idubbz. First, despite how popular he is, many people don't know who he is. Make sure I'm not peeking. There's no way to look at the levels here, is there? Peek! Okay. Just want to make sure I know where my levels are. Let's begin again. Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and these are my thoughts. A lot of people are crying and whining over the idubbz video titled, I miss the old idubbz. First, despite how popular he is, many people still don't know who he is, or... Really? Not even the first paragraph. Alright. Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and these are my thoughts. A lot of people are crying and whining over the idubbz video titled, I miss the old idubbz. First, despite how popular he is, many people don't know who he is. So, who is idubbz? idubbz is a comedic commentator who had a few different types of videos, but his main draw was Content Cop, where he would be hyperbolically critical of bigger content creators. These videos were definitely punching up, and I still am a fan of them, as many other people are, though I imagine for different reasons. According to idubbz, he felt like they were promoting bigotry and apathetic hatred. I just found them to be amusing, including all my friends. One example is the Tanamangu Content Cop. It has a frank discussion on how there is this weight put on certain slurs, and in Tana's case, was at the time just being a hypocrite, claiming the use of the neighbor word, no matter the context, makes you a racist. and then drop in a queer slur within that same statement. Insert clip. I didn't think an apology video was necessary at first, but people are stupid. There is a whole crowd of normies that think a slur makes someone a bigot and criticism of a person is permission to harass that person. Oh boy, I need to make a correction here. I didn't think an apology video was necessary at first, but people are stupid. Think of how stupid the average person is and then realize that half of the other people out there in the world are dumber than that. There is a whole crowd of normies that think someone using a slur gives them a permission to use it themselves on a daily basis, no matter what setting they're in, and that criticism of another person is permission to harass that person. It's frustrating to me, though, that there is this hang-up on certain words. Words by themselves are innocent. It's the context in which they are used. I always say leftists get hung up on ideas, liberals get hung up on words. I always say leftists get hung up on ideas, liberals get hung up on words. The thing that brings my piss to a boil, though, is you can lose your career from not even accidentally saying a slur, like when a weatherman had the mayor pressure a local news station to fire their... Like when a weatherman... Well, he didn't have the... Well, like when a mayor pressured a local news station to fire their weatherman for flubbing a line. While people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Stephen Crowder, Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh can say all the bigoted shit they want and rake in millions. But hey, they didn't specifically say kill X group or say a series of slurs, so it's all right. In fact, considering the threat Michael Knowles made to the lives of other human beings, hitting him with a truck full of cancer would be self-defense, in my opinion. But I do not advocate for that. I do not advocate for violence because that would be against YouTube's TOS. JonTron, on the other hand, never apologized for his blatantly racist views, his actual racist views. As far as we know, he still holds them. Before anyone tries to point out he made an apology video, he didn't. All he did was acknowledge what he said and then moved on like nothing mattered. Career-wise, sure, it was the smart thing to do because a few months later he was back making videos and still making videos today and making millions. I agree he's definitely talented, but I'd be reluctant to ever financially support him in light of his racist views. Yet, do we get any clarification on that or an apology? No. For starters, has anyone ever told this guy that race is a social construct to begin with? Anyways, I have to give idubbz props for this video. It's actually nice to see such a public figure put himself in a vulnerable position, whether it's for money, to promote his boxing career, his boxing venture, to protect that from his old content. Doesn't matter. He didn't have to make this video. He could have just renamed himself and pretend this never happened. Like Filthy Frank did. He's now Joji and he makes popular music. He went on to lay out some of his insecurities, even describing his evolution from having some fucked up points of view, and then learning to have a little more empathy. I want to get into his hideous viewpoint a little more. Some people still hold that you are not responsible for your audience. Well, of course, you're not responsible for what every audience member does. However, that was the only thing that comes close to anything shocking idubbz believed. In an extreme case, if I say a group of people is subhuman and inspire someone to do some violent action, whether or not I told them to do that action, I'm still kind of responsible for that and to some degree. In the less extreme sense, if I criticize a piece of media and it inspires a harassment campaign on someone, I guess the least I could do is denounce such a practice if I'm made aware of it, of course. A great example is Retsupray. This was a channel that would make jokes and commentary over bad Let's Play videos. However, if a target requested it, they'd take their video down. When they did their Kickstarter non-starter series, they even addressed a harassment campaign that started because of one of their videos, even though they didn't tell anyone to do anything. You'd think it'd go without saying, but I guess not. idubbz and other past characters like him. idubbz and other past characters. idubbz and other past characters like him, such as Filthy Frank, always came off as satire to me, and I imagine how the majority of people saw it too. Which is why I consider Rich Review Tech USA might be right in saying that this is just to cover his ass when it comes to sponsorship deals in regards to his venture into boxing. But I can't read his mind, and really it's not up to me what he does anyways. He can do whatever the hell he wants. And if he doesn't like his past videos and wants to do other things, then so be it. Why would I get mad about it? I guess a bunch of supposed fans are upset by this, and some of the comments he made in regards to the types of fans he met in some cases. Well, none of the shit he describes applies to me, so no reason for me to get mad about it. He can do whatever the hell he wants, and if he doesn't like his past videos and wants to do other things, then so be it. I guess a bunch of supposed fans are upset by this, regarding some of the comments he made in light of the fans he met in person in some cases. In light of the fans he met in person. Well, none of the shit he said and described applies to me, so no reason for me to get mad. If you are mad by some of the things he said and described, then maybe you should look in a mirror and realize you helped kill the idubbz you supposedly love. I can also imagine harassing him and his wife over the OnlyFans account didn't help either. There is a great episode of Married with Children where Al Bundy's favorite show, Psycho Dad, gets canceled after pressure from a women's group. After protesting, he writes a deranged letter to the main actor using letters clipped out of magazines and newspapers. Ironically, it inspires the main actor to call it quits altogether instead of fighting to get the show back on the air. Someone explained to me this mentality fans have, where they think a creator owes them anything, by the way. It's like at times they try to hold a channel and its maker hostage into making the same kind of stuff forever. Regardless if he made this video or not, the same people not liking his new content wouldn't stick around anyways. He's ventured out into doing other things and seems to be finding success with it just fine. Which leads me to the thing that kind of solidified me making this video in the first place. Boogie's shit comment. Shit, I gotta bring that up. Who had it? Let's pause. It was Shark Zero. Shark Zero's video. Do 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 do. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah, tailspin. Oh yeah, tailspin. Blah 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 blah. Da 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 da. Did I not download it? Okay, good. So, what folder is this in? It's out in the open, huh? Alright. Shark. I think it was like 300. Pretty sure it's in this video. There it is. There it is. Alright. Print screen. Paint. I'm just gonna clip this out right there. Fucking fake piece of weird shit. While we're at it, let's see if we can get that video of his. Boogie visiting his mom's grave. Some fucked up looking shit here. I'm so glad this is already uploaded. I'm gonna put that in my comments here. Wait, what's the docs? No, you're not crying. I don't believe it. This is why you took it down, by the way. Did I accidentally, like, close my dock? Alright, we gotta put this. What's that clicking in the background? I'm just gonna put that video here. I love this comment. They love you because you gave birth to me. That's what I'm trying to look for. What's a timestamp for it? Managed to produce one tier and make sure the audience is aware of it. Yeah, there he is. Oh, this is when Storyfire started too. That's not even that long ago. Shit. This guy's so full of shit too. He's, you know, that's his problem. If he was just like genuine in his like actual personality, I wouldn't have a problem with him. Just like I don't really have a problem with like Wings of Redemption, for example. Like I'm more whatever shittiness he has is outshined by his community. With Boogie, it's like he has an entire audience that's like emotionally manipulated into giving him money because he threatens suicide all the time. Alright, where did he say the quote? I need that quote. Pick up the speed there, Boogie. Really stuff? I guess they just have chairs set up there. See if someone timestamped it. Is that it? Oh shit. Yeah, get back to your Tesla. Go back to your Tesla that your fans bought you. Well, I mean, you bought it yourself and then realized, oh wait, shit, I can get my fans to help pay for it. I think this is around this. Yeah, because you were controlling and super sensitive and not even that sensitive in an emotional sense, sensitive in like, I'm going to go off on you sense. What she describes at least. Whatever, I'll find it later. I want to do these recordings. I want to put this here before it gets deleted or something. Whoops. think this is about it. I think this is it. I made an effort to make a folder for every person I download a video from. Hey, you never will be back. Got your content. Must be nice. I think it's around here. I remember it's like around where his face is. So fucking weird. Like if I visited a relative's grave, unless we had some kind of agreement before they died or some shit, there would not be any fucking video camera anywhere near there. I'm gonna have to like skim through it and find it somewhere. Where the fuck does he say it? Oh wait, I think I know. I think I probably find it. Nice guys. Hopefully it's not a patron only. There we go. Sounds like he just wants to get rid of his dog. He's looking for an excuse to get rid of his dog. Before he even comes out.
Twitter posts about how he saved you from suicide and shit. I'm gonna take that little dog.
Let me go back.
He's talking. Will literally take Sam to the pound. I will literally take him to the pound and find him a new home.
Please don't do that. What? Yeah, please don't do that.
Sounds to me like Boogie doesn't want his dog anymore, and he's trying to look for an excuse.
So wait. He's talking to.
He blocked somebody and he said,
I don't know who he's talking to.
He's talking to Who Gives a Fuck,
right?
And accusing that person of calling him names. That person saying,
and
"I never
saying,
called you any names," and he said, "If you can prove to me you hadn't called me any names this
I
summer,
will give my dog to
I
the
will
pound.
literally take my little fucking dog, who I proclaim to love more than anything in the world,
to the pound."
And have made multiple tearful fucking Twitter posts about how he saved you from suicide and shit.
Oops.
I'm gonna take that little dog to the pound if you can prove to me that you didn't insult me on the internet this summer. If a woman doesn't come and submit to all of my, needs and wants, then I might just put a gun in my mouth. If that happens, though. And I promise it won't. Yeah, don't you love that too?
Oh, yeah.
If I ever succumb to my depression and anxiety,
Which I won't, so
and
don't
hurt
call the
myself,
police or anything.
Which I absolutely promise I won't.
But if I do,
But if I do, know
Then you'll
that it
know.
wasn't the hate.
it was the sickness.
Oh my god.
It was the mental illness within me that I.
Yeah, so this is
songs,
basically
other.
Further than that, I think
It's a
some
film
kind of
note.
heart
To his
and
All right. Well, I'm gonna find the clip. I think it'll be easier to find it through here. Not gonna expose any links. Nice guys. I wish I'd do more videos like this, but they weren't as popular as the news stuff, so I can't really help that shit. Alright. Good episode, too.
title. So,
Alright. There it
Oh, I
is.
made it all the
some kind of heartfelt, personal moment. It's got to be, of course,
It's got to be
filmed
announced on Twitter,
and announced.
and then a video is shot of it so that he can release it to his fans and so they can see how emotionally torn he is.
Okay, rock on.
Camera.
Wanted to.
What's happening right here?
I mean, whether
Walking around him in a circle. You get a lot. And
Thousands of people see.
oh my god, the
Wow.
narcissism.
Thousands of people see it.
The world was old boogie. I had it in the script originally, but I kind of got rid of it. I think Paul, you brought up his teeth. If you don't drink, it's
like thing, and it really
expensive, usually 20.
fine, but
But-
people can just
fucked up teeth.
5 million people.
Okay, so I just saw the shadow of that camera, and this is not some. You couldn't even credibly say this is like an impromptu, like whipped out your phone and can't.
Mom, 1
there's lighting
billion-
too.
1 billion. Just 2 days ago.
All right, now this is the hero
was in
shot, so you better
Pennsylvania.
turn it on, Boogie. God.
But I was, I was headline.
Headline.
Oh, better. I'll level you.
To shake my hand.
It's worse than a bad movie.
Oh God.
People said I've saved their life.
Now that it's on,
Big shit.
I'm on. Even if you have to get thing,
Especially this is not
Ups and downs.
service doesn't like.
Your little shit suit, Carl?
See. Oh, there's definitely a lighting rig in there.
I do remember the good times. It was a hell of a thing. And Mom, I want to say you did good. But you really didn't. But you know what?
oh, the cry laugh, man, an advanced
get it off.
technique.
He didn't really pull it off, but
No, rated release, a human
across anything, but
not
Damn it, I want
get
one
away
little quote, and I can't
commercial
find
for.
Whatever. I'll get it later. Do 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 do. Internet nice guys. Internet nice guys. Internet nice guys. It's hard to believe there's that many episodes already. Yeah, I get that. It's not valid. Shut up. Oh my god. What? Because there's a colon? Yep, okay. Oh well, let's just continue with the script here. Anyways. Bookie's comment. Where was it? Where was it? There we go. Okay, back to recording. Which leads me to the thing that solidified me making a video about this in the first place. Boogie's shit comment. Y'all think the beating Jordy gave me was bad? Check out the beating idubbz is giving to his career. Watching this video, I feel so bad for the guy. He has lost all his self-confidence. He has lost all his self-respect. He is losing his audience. He is losing his career. I walked a similar path, and I hated the results. I hope he gets better. You're the one to fucking talk about destroying careers, you emotionally manipulative fat... Wow, I've almost said fat. You emotionally manipulative fake fuck. You're the one to fucking talk, you emotionally manipulative fake fuck. How's the Tesla treating ya? Recently, Boogie had a match with Wings of Redemption, and I'll use that as an opportunity to say Wings of Redemption is 10 times more than Boogie is, because at least Wings is legit when it comes to the type of person he is. Because at least Wings is legit in regards to his personality. But, you know, that's besides the point. That's besides the point, though. Let's not get distracted, though. idubbz's career is doing fine. If he doesn't like the idea of making the same shit he made before and saying, neighbor baguette, like some cute catchphrase, what benefit is it to him to continue making it, specifically now, when in the middle of this, I listen to more people who his apology video was actually directed at? Well, you know why satire and ironic humor is hard to come by outside of Saturday Night Live, which hasn't been funny for decades, I imagine, at this point? It's because of dipshits like this. The fans that he interacted with, that were incentivized to bully others based on how some stranger they saw acted on the internet. I hope this is just addressing a minority of people still seething over this shit, because... here's how it was for me and my homies growing up in the hardcore area of St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Alright, stop. What I did there is contrast my statement with reality. I falsely claimed the area I grew up in was a rough one. Like Detroit, but showed that it was very middle class, clean, with hardly any serious crimes to worry about. Okay? That was a little joke there. That was satire. That was a juxtaposition of what reality was into what I was describing. Does that make things clear so no one can get anything wrong? Anyways, when we were teenagers and young adults, racist stereotypes, language, Holocaust jokes were funny because we knew they were bad, and bigots are idiots, and Holocaust deniers are idiots. I had to pause for a while here while writing this up and do some further reflection. I'm just a honky-tonk Goomba, so I'm not going to pretend to know what direct racism is like or tell black people how to react to hearing slurs, so I'll focus on the queer aspect for myself. I grew up throughout the 90s when everything we didn't like was gay. It was a pejorative, just like baguette was. Didn't matter who you were, you'd be called it at least a few dozen times a day. It became a pseudonym for buddy or friend. For people out of the closet, it was often the last... To be fair, for people out of the closet, it was the last thing they hear before they get beaten to death, depending on location. Today, when I hear people say it on YouTube, I never think that person is being bigoted towards me by default, though. Most bigots I see online and TV these days don't use any slurs. In fact, they go out of their way not to even swear or curse. They get paid millions. Again, I think we as a species get hung up way too much on individual words, ignoring context and acting like everything's black and white, while groups, organize, politicians promote anti-queer laws. While I bet some people will get distracted by the fact that I've been using queer as an umbrella term for anyone non-straight or trans. Further reflecting while working on this, it dawned on me as time went on since I graduated. Further reflecting on things as I worked on this, and further reflecting on things as I worked on this. It dawned on me as time went on since I graduated high school in 2004. I imagine because school officials find it easier to crack down on the use of words rather than to I imagine because public schools find it easier to crack down to... Wow. I imagine because school officials find it easier to crack down on the use of words rather than try to curtail the amount of bullying that goes on. We got a few generations now that no longer have the benefit of becoming numb to the word baguette, like my generation has. Now we have to deal with mainly online crowds of whiny slacktivists who act like a queer person dies whenever... Who act like... Now we have to deal with mainly online crowds of whining slacktivists who act like a queer person dies like a fairy. Said like twice. Now we have to deal with a mainly online crowd of whining slacktivists who seem to be under the impression a queer person dies like a fairy whenever someone utters the word. Don't worry, kids. If you clap hard enough and shout, yes, 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 we'll come back to life. We were so close to having baguette losing all impact. It was right there with the word cunt. If someone says, like, we just respond with. People would ironically call something 90s gay, recognizing how absurd it was. People today, at this point, ironically will call something 90s gay, recognizing how absurd it was that we used to use it in the way we did for so many decades. But no, no, no. A bunch of do-gooder, lazy liberals push to re-empower the word baguette and put it back on the pedestal of forbidden words so they can feel good about themselves as they tear down anyone who uses it, no matter the context, and then play centrist games when it comes to dog-whistling bigots that have multi-million-dollar careers and platforms. They get to pretend that they somehow made the world a better place. Now we have to use the F word, as if that doesn't put it in your head. Whenever someone uses it that way, anyway. So what the fuck is the point? But whatever. Not exactly some heavy burden to deal with. I'm not walking up to groups of people saying, "Hello, fellow fucker." Not really part of my vocabulary at this point. In fact, when I'm writing this video, and despite censoring the word, I'm not actually saying it either. Can't get clipped because then everyone would be focused on me using a slur, even though I'm not promoting any bigoted points of view. Whatever. Well, let's get back to this idubbz shit. In this case, some people thought that his online persona was reflective on his real life persona. So I don't have a problem nor see a real big deal with him disowning his past content. I don't like a lot of my past content either. It just comes with the territory of being a creative. Thankfully, nothing I feel the need to apologize for. Maybe the Trigglypuff episode? Nah. Again, this is what leads me to argue with myself of whether his videos are really as problematic as he says they are, all of a sudden, when we have far worse people who directly promote bigotry in the most subtle ways possible, and sometimes. Getting into some of those past videos, like the Content Cops, which I've rewatched recently, somewhat, I think it's silly to apologize for that stuff. Keemstar, Tanamangu, Leafy are public figures. They deserve the criticism, considering they spent their time criticizing many other people. And they were doing all kinds of shit that surpassed anything idubbz ever did. See the videos for yourself and tell me, do you get the impression that this is a person that made these videos while having a completely racist, bigoted mindset? I don't need to defend myself liking these videos before and now. It's weird to me people would even get the impression he hated certain groups based on some slurs he used. as some shock jock. And in these videos, at least, it was used in ironic fashion for critiquing people who are oftentimes just being hypocrites, virtue signaling, or just being all and out douchebags. Again, it's whatever. I don't like having this list of forbidden words if there's some magic to them, but at the same time, I get how there needs to be some understanding of the weight behind such words and how it invites certain types of people within your social circles. I'm just a bit divided on it because nothing is ever black and white. I was in my late 20s, early 30s when I first saw content cop videos. Me and my friends laughed at them all the same. Then, Tucker, what are you doing? Tucker, what are you doing? What are you excited? What are you excited about? Boo, 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 out, out, out. Bye. It's whatever. I don't like having this list of forbidden words as if there's some magic to them, but at the same time, I get how there needs to be understanding that there is weight behind certain words, and it invites certain people into your social circles if you're not correcting of them. I'm just a bit divided on it, and I'm really divided on it because nothing is ever black and white. I was in my late 20s, early 30s when I first saw the content cop videos, and me and my friends all laughed at them all the same. The only harmful thing really are the idiots who don't know what satire is or think they can do the same thing he did to everyday people. You don't see Sacha Baron Cohen doing apology videos or the people he may have caused some distress over, the antics he's behind with Bruno and Borat. So what is so different with idubbz? Because he didn't use as many slurs, I guess? I don't know. For his venture into boxing, I don't really have interest in boxing. I'm more of a poor wrestling kind of guy. Speaking of head trauma, you want to talk about damaging people? How many longtime boxers develop CTE from head trauma, idubbz? How many early onset dementia are you going to cause from fellow creators? Now, despite my criticisms, even when it comes to what I said earlier about Boogie, I'd rather have all these people better themselves with time rather than stagnate, have a crash and burn phase, or regress into some kind of degenerate. So let's summarize all this to try to make sense of it all. The apology video is necessary because he thought it was necessary. I don't consider it an attack on his entire fan base as much as it is a reaction to the shitty fans he had encounters with. You have to consider if these are the types of people championing you, and their takeaway of your content is, funny man say bad word, me say bad word too, me cool like you, yes? Who wouldn't consider what they're doing at the time? His career with the videos he's making have changed a long time now, long since before this video came out, which is what helps make it feel more sincere. It's none of our fucking business when it comes to the type of relationship he has with his wife. He doesn't owe old and current fans anything. No, liking the content he denounces doesn't make you a bigot. He pretty much said that himself. I don't get how you can feel personally attacked over his opinions changing over time unless you yourself are some kind of hardcore racist and thought he was like sharing the same viewpoint as you did. Your parasocial mindset at work. I mean, if you miss it so much, go say it on your channel then. Maybe you could be the next idubbz of 2016. Go ahead and do it, fam. And this is coming from someone who's passively watched him for years. It's just basic consideration. I get it's fine to do criticism of people, especially public figures who generally have more mental fortitude for such things, but are the feelings of those who were affected by people influenced by his content invalid for some reason just because we find it funny? It's what he wants to do and it's working for him, so why would he listen to a bunch of whining bitches on the internet? Why would anything I say even affect him in any way, whether it was to promote him or denounce him? These are just my thoughts though. Alright, so my Ratchet and Clank commission is done. Next is to focus on my kids' book in between more personal stories and related projects I have in the works. Mr. Anti-Woke will make a return for some original videos. I was really reluctant to do this commentary. In fact, I deleted the first script a third of the way done. However, I knew if I didn't do this, I would regret it because the more it kept popping in my head, the more I wanted to talk about it in relation to the toxic fan base mostly. Good day. All right. 1 down, 2 to go. Hour and a half left. Well, mainly, actually more like an hour. Anyways, show and folder. Let's rename this shit. Put this in my iCloud. So I can edit this on the fly with my iPad. There it goes. Oh, also I still want to copy it. Where are you? Uh-oh. There it is. So many videos I have in mind. Okay, got a bunch of the clips already downloaded. Got a lot of things I need for it. It's just a matter of just compiling it all together now. All right, let's do the furry one because this one's been like delayed for 3 years. In fact, it delayed so much I ended up just rewriting the script outright. It's time I just fucking do it. I'm a little reluctant because it is kind of personal, but whatever. It is what it is. I need some water. All right. Core 2. Today we have a couple of furry commissions. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I want to re-listen. I want to listen to some of the things I said. Just want to make sure I'm not sounding too bad or anything. I'm sounding pretty good, you know. Seemed like he gained a lot of self-respect in that video, but okay. Okay, yeah, he just lost all self-respect. That's, yeah, he's just so depressed. That's why he's, you know, doing pretty good right now. It makes no fucking sense. Whatever. Christ, man. Alright. It sounded pretty good. Doesn't sound too bad. Okay. Let's record this. Interesting that it's like still here. Yeah, you're having a problem finding the file because it doesn't exist. Yeah, you can't delete it because I deleted it. Come on. Alright. Alright. Motorcycles spinning around on my microphone. Let's do the furry events, okay. I need to have like a live action intro to this. I definitely do. I need to do something. I need to put my furries up there. I need my I need my husbands in their costumes. I do have some B-roll footage I could probably use. That'll work. Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and this is Crafty Arts. Today we have a couple of furry commissions I am doing with acrylic paint, and I figured this is a good time to talk about furries and my involvement. So first, what is a furry? It is a fan of characters or just non-human animal aesthetics in general. You like The Lion King, Land Before Time, Ratatouille, Mouse Guard, then you are a furry fan just as much as liking Star Wars and Star Trek means you're a fan of those things. Where it goes from there is entirely up to the individual. There is a plan to get into some more of the personal details about my involvement on the Weird Source channel, but for this video, we'll just go over the basics. And the positive impact it has had on me over the years. This tale is really about stepping out of one's comfort zone or safe space. It's easy to get with the program. It's easy for the majority of us to be pressured into conforming to the expectations imposed on us by parents, leaders, and the general society we live in. To me, this was one of the first major risks I took in my life, leading to forming my own path and not living for others' sake. Furry was a dirty little secret of mine, technically since the 5th grade, before the internet. Up until my best friend, 1996, that is a time before the internet was widely available, and I had no real term for what I was fantasizing about. This went on up until my best friend of 12 years, who I'll call Frank, was talking of committing self-termination one night in 2008. It's another long story, so let's just skip over those details. After some convincing, I got him to tell me where he was, and And then meeting up with him at a Roach motel, I told him that I was secretly downloading and trying to religiously shame myself out of this. Wow, what the fuck? In secret? I mean this secret. After some convincing, I got him to tell me where he was, and meeting up with him at a Roach motel, I told him what I was secretly downloading and trying to religiously shame myself out of for the past 10 plus years. Not long ago at this point, I got over my self-hatred and became an atheist, and here I am now revealing... and here I am with my best friend revealing some of the commissions I was taking on in secret. And that this was a thing I've been into since before I knew it was a thing. To give some perspective, me and Frank shared everything with each other starting in high school. That's when we became real friends. We confided in each other with our social problems and growing pains. We knew each other's dirty little secrets and would have deep, serious conversations about the future, politics, and life in general. All except for this one thing about me. At age 15, I was more willing to reveal to my best friend my sexual assault committed against me by a peer in elementary school before I would reveal this aspect of myself nearly 8 years after the fact. There was a local furry convention near Detroit that was going on in 2009, and I was curious but resistant about going, even by myself. I had all these fears instilled into me by the internet of what might happen if someone might find out I was there. That I would be targeted for harassment, my family and friends would reject me, any prospects of a career in the arts or any other career would be null and void. The assumption people often have that being a furry means, unlike the Jackass crew, you actually enjoy the thought of messing around with a horse pee-pee, or you're just the average pervert. I thought of myself still as straight, ignoring my bi tendencies and history. Just the thought of being found out as a rare straight furry when at the time I wasn't self-sufficient, relying on mommy and daddy to pay the bills, and my path through college was concern enough. The thing that got me more relaxed was the guest of honor was... The thing that got me more relaxed was that year the guest of honor turned out to be Tracy Butler, who was responsible for a webcomic turned published book and now animated pilot, Lackadaisy. That was my first indication that this shit wasn't it. That was my first indication that this shit wasn't what it really seems, or at least not as bad as I thought it would be. This person is a professionally published artist and author. Doesn't seem like there's any concern regarding her career. So 2009 April comes, Frank pushed me to register for at least a day, and we both went. Just to cover my ass, I arrived under the guise of making a video for YouTube. Interviewed a bunch of artists, met some interesting people. We then upgraded our registration for the whole weekend within minutes of registering, actually. Things went smoothly, despite being suspect of being part of a local radio station trying to do a undercover piece. Frank broke his 6 months of sobriety at the time and got kicked out over being a drunken buffoon, but other than that, had a great time. Day 2 was when I figured out gay people were not the stereotypes I grew up with, seeing throughout entertainment media. Because of the times I would make videos in high school, filming local family events in my dad's band, I was confident with a camera. No, because of the times I would make videos in high school, filming local family events and my dad's band, Animals of the Night, I was confident with a camera in public, allowing me to get in close and take some good shots. Get to talk with some prominent figures that I only found out a day before about. And that whole YouTube ruse I kept in my head got dropped by the first day, really. Looking back at my concerns in retrospect, I don't so much blame any of these furries who are into kinky dinky stuff repulsing me. In fact, it applies to me in a lot of regards. I blame the society stigma attached to it. I know furry isn't strictly kink, especially since there are plenty of asexuals within and conventions allowing all ages to attend. But I think, generally speaking, Americans, especially, need to stop being so goddamn puritanical. Life is full of ironies, and even though you'll likely never see me in some full leather daddy dragon suit, as sure as I shit, I'm all for people expressing themselves freely, safely, and confidently because fuck you, that's why. It wasn't until after that I decided. Hello, Tucker. You're back. What do you want? What do you want? You pushed my door open. I closed it. It's not how it's supposed to work. Go. 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 Bye-bye. 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 It wasn't until after that I decided to look for forums and local meetups. It wasn't until... I have to admit this. There we go. A new kind of fear emerged. What if I fuck up? I not only would have people bullying me again, like in grade school, I would have the amplification of the internet behind it. It wasn't until after I decided to look for forums and local meetups that I would lead myself down the path of forever emerging out of my shell. First was one at Comic-Con, and then another taking place at a nearby home where I would meet my soon-to-be second... And then another taking place at a nearby home where I would meet my second girlfriend. I made an effort to be social at parties for a change rather than wander around aimlessly and not talk to anyone like I did in my early college years, showing off my art and videos. Oh. Shit. I made an effort to be social at parties for a change rather than wander around aimlessly, not talking to anyone like I did in my early college years. I also started showing off my art and videos. For once since my senior year in high school, I got respect from people, invited to private events. Oh yeah. For once since my senior high school year, 2004, I got respect from people, invited to private events, and had friends that were overall reliably trustworthy and had a lot more things in common with me other than just going to the same place together. Strange enough, side note, despite not moving, I never met anyone I knew from grade school or college throughout any of this time. Speaking of which, another perspective to all of this is normally you get to grow and mature, making mistakes in things like friendships, romantic relationships, doing stupid, crazy things. I never got much of that in my teenage years. All my efforts were focused on just primarily getting through the day and doing just good enough to pass the next grade. After taking that initial step outside my isolating hole, I got to make up for those lost adolescent years of social development just a little bit more. There will always be a bitterness because this all started for me when I was 22 and I knew I couldn't just meander and hang around with friends and party all the time if I wanted to improve my art, writing, and video production skills, possibly making something of it for myself. So in the end, it was because I stepped out of my comfort zone. Wow. So, in the end, stepping out of my comfort. In the end, stepping out of my comfort zone to experience something I wanted to, despite my fears, not only led to actual friends, but actual romantic relationships, despite thinking I never would have any. Accepted and came to terms with my bisexuality, got over my remaining insecurities, moving out of my parents, getting married to 2 people, got out of the shit jobs, got out of from under the thumb of landlords, and we have a good boy now on top of that. Everything I have now stems back to that first step into a furry convention, let alone the friends I made along the way. So that's all I got for my own little personal story. Hope you enjoyed this. You know what to do. Subscribe, share, Patreon. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Bye. Alright. Let's go over some of this. I guess monitoring myself while with the microphone actually works pretty good. Ah shit, I forgot one other thing I need to do for this other video. I need to read some of these comments. Alright, new recording. Like, there are some weird comments out there, like how the 2016 idubbz would bully the current one. Okay, is he just not allowed to grow and change? Is he supposed to remain the same type of person no matter what? And how is this changed for the worse exactly? As opposed to like what a lot of other people do whenever they fail at some writing career or acting career. We see what happens. Have you seen the cast of Daily Wire talking heads? I guess I have to put that clip in there. Where's the Google Docs? There it is. Huh. Oh boy. Okay, please tell me I can find it. Humanist Report. Failed actors. Was it from this one?
Up to working performance. And
Oh yeah, it is on that one. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's go for some of these comments. All right, and then there's some of these comments. I think this one sums it up pretty good. Honestly, I get why he changed. Imagine walking down the street and everyone that recognizes you calls you a neighbor friendly all the time. Less of the edgy stuff and more just being himself. Ian is still funny in most environments he's put in, and as long as he can find an interesting subject matter, he's always entertaining when reacting to it. I would have to agree with that. Sometimes I feel bad for idubbz because he really did attract and build a fan base of shitty people. Years later, they are still obsessed with harassing him and Nisha because he isn't their edgelord king anymore. Yeah, really, it is. It's just a matter of a lot of people not growing up with their heroes. All right. Show in folder. Okay. Right. And then we'll copy that. Should copy both of these. I'm fucking it. It would be funny if I already did this recording and I just forgot about it. Because it's been that long already. Again. Before I got the chance to edit it. Oh my god, I did. No fucking way. Hold on. I had a feeling I might have. Just now when I did it. What the fuck was that? Wow, this is a better... This is better than the one I recorded. What the fuck? This is better than the one I found. I thought this was finished. Whoops. Oh goddamn. Alright. I don't know. I mean, this just sounds better. A lot better sounding parts. God damn it. Hey, Tigrin. That's fine. A little optimistic nihilism kind of helps in that fact. I'd hate to think what I'd be like, what my life would be like now, if I didn't take those first steps coming out of my protective shell of solitude all those years ago. I'd hate to think what my life would be like if I didn't take the first steps coming out of my protective shell of solitude all those years ago. No direction, no focus, locked onto a path, working to make ads for billboards, cars, websites, letting my own creativity flounder and be exploited in order to just follow and fit in within the status quo. What is expected of me by others? What is expected of me by others? Up until that point, I just wanted to be a ghost, hiding away in a hole, posting art, and never making any effort to make friends with anyone online or outside my current circle. I'm happy where I am right now. I continue to make efforts to achieve my measures of success. I continue to make the to pick up on and for everything. Point is, it has all worked out so far, despite the chances of it not. Alright, I said enough. But got any furry stories of your own? I don't care if they are positive or negative. Feel free to post them anytime in the comments, and I'll make a video of them. I'll make a video out of them. Thanks for sharing this with everyone you know, including your Uncle Frank. Thanks for sharing this with everyone that you know, including your Uncle Frank. And liking and subscribing, you know. Across the term. It was a... When am I gonna record this? I don't wanna waste the fucking time. August. I recorded this in August with the intention of editing it. Oh god, okay. Well. Hey. Things keep getting in the way, like this. This thing, for instance. Alright, fine. Fuck it. I don't care. We're going to use that one, I guess. God damn it. Just god damn it. It's a better... I think it's a better video, probably. I'm going to put them both there. I still think it's probably a better video. Probably gonna end up using that one, I think. Because I have like, this is kind of like a quicker version? It's like a lesser version of that. Why does that even exist? Is this just my other attempt to like rewrite a smaller one? I think maybe I just got further too much in detail, maybe. Right now I'm just going over some recordings we're doing, getting ready for the next series of videos. Okay. Conventions. I came across one in Michigan. The internet. No one can point to the internet and say it influenced me and corrupted me. Haha, I'm one of the OGs, bitch. It's all a story in itself for another time and place on the Weird Source channel. Like and subscribe. Now keep in mind, I never interacted with any furries before, really, at this point. The time I got my understanding of their existence was in high school. It was a dirty little secret of mine, looking up funny pictures, and then happened across the term. It was also amplified by social and religious guilt.
Turning into Freddy.
I was
To boost
going through a mental struggle.
Probably detected that my taste in horror, The Lighthouse, a little bit cheesier than most of that fare. It's not.
Life is full of
Characters have genuine humanity, and that makes watching them face the brutality and trauma of a demonic clown with an infinite capacity for sadism so much more compelling. Number 2, The Fly. Run, so we hop to Brundle. This movie is get to number 1 on the list. Adam Sandler. I love it together. Nuts or what have you, another tug, and you're suddenly back in hell. Bruce of that premise. It elevates the whole film above its predecessor for me. Plus, I'm just a sucker for a lot of false endings. You know,
by my church and the environment made me more of a furry weirdo than any come for blood furry atheist could ever hope for me to become. And now I'm divided on this. Do I want the shorter version? That's a little more confined and mainstream, or do I want the longer version of this? Fuck. But for this video, we'll just go over the basics. The thought of messing around with a horse PP, or you're just the average pervert. I thought of myself still as straight, ignoring... It's like 8 minutes here, right? I decided to look for forums and local meetups that would... It kind of summarizes it. I guess it kind of summarizes it for like a more like normie understanding. And this is kind of like more fitted for the furry channel, actually. Up until that point, I just wanted to be a ghost, hiding away in a... Yeah, let me go over this one more time before we get to the last one. You know what? Oh, wait a minute, this ain't it. This is like the second one, right? Okay, so where's the one that we were just quoting? This one? This is it then. Yeah, you know what? This should probably go on the furry channel. This is a little more descriptive. Let me let's go through this real quick. To talk about furries and my involvement with them. Seemed like a good time as any. Now I consider myself an artist who is a furry. As in, the furry is a great aesthetic, and I love the concepts behind it. I know it's ironic considering I have a sizable collection of furry pornography. Go to parties, conventions, and have little personal get-togethers. You think I just say it outright, but I don't like being tied down to groups or communities fully. I like to keep a sense of individuality. In the end, when you strip it down, furry's an aesthetic. That is, like a funny hat, a style of animation, or the characters in a story. Mouse Guard is a furry story just like Lindsay Lohan's NFT Persona sale was a furry character. Saying otherwise is like saying the sky is green. Whatever it is beyond the aesthetic to a person, that's up to them. It's not a membership group, it doesn't have a philosophy to follow or a deity to sacrifice babies to. We just feed them to Raptor Jesus for fun. I'm not responsible for anyone else's behavior or goddamn that. I'm not responsible for anyone else's behavior, or goddamn those NFTs. Can't we all just take a moment one more time to celebrate that they are fucking dead? Are they dead? Are they gonna die? Are they gonna come back? I don't know, but if you look at any of this artwork, tell me that there isn't anything else better out there. I dare you to. This makes all the DeviantArt OCs don't steal look like masterpiece. Wow. This makes all those DeviantArt OC characters don't steal look like masterpieces. Compared to Mila Fox or Celeste, Spectrum Shift, or fuck, even my own. This shit had no business being called art or being sold for major money or being backed by corpo interests. In fact, can't we just burn all corporations? That'd be fun. Anyways, I digress. Let's talk about furries. The time I got my understanding of their existence... Yeah, obviously I recorded before AI art took off. Let's go over here. Yeah. The first time I got wind of their existence was in high school. I had a actual I got my first internet connection, and I was just searching for some funny pictures and came across the term. It was a dirty little secret of mine, amplified by religious guilt. I just quietly downloaded lots and lots of artwork while making my own on occasion, even without the internet's help, and mentally struggled with my desires. Yeah, I shouldn't even just like reinforced by hide it. Religious guilt. Stop it. I should just say what it is. Man, I don't know. I think this kind of fits more in the other channel. I could pretty much title this like how furry changed my life here. But then again, I like this idea of having personal stories paired with artwork, like how I intend this channel to be. So, it's just that the NFT shit is really fucking out of date already. Let me play more of it. Conventions. I came across one in Michigan. I see where this is going. Okay. The internet. No one can point to the internet and say it influenced. After getting curious about the going-ons at conventions, I came across one in Michigan within my local area. I told a friend about my guilty little secret regarding the things I was into drawing on the side. I told my friend about my guilty little secret and regarding the things I was into drawing on the side. Since elementary school, before the internet, no one could point to the internet and say it influenced me and corrupted me. Haha, I'm one of the OGs, bitch. It's all a story in itself for another time and place on the Weird Source channel. Like and subscribe. Now keep in mind, I never interacted with any furries before, really, at this point. The time I got my understanding of their existence was in high school. It was a dirty little secret of mine, looking up funny pictures, and then happened across the term. It was also amplified by social and religious guilt. I was
No, let's go down this channel.
Okay, I've made it my decision. This is one we're gonna edit for the video. I want something a little more elaborate. That's what it's gonna be. I might it's just that one part about the fucking NFT shit. Cause like it's so fucking dead. I can probably just cut it out entirely. Or I could probably intersplice what I said in the first one. That's what I'll go for. Okay, we got our decision. We're gonna combine these two a little bit. Yeah, we got this. All right, last thing I want to record. Let's just make sure I don't have a recording of it. I don't think I do. I mean, I did redo the script. All right, let's see. Demons closing in. Yeah, I'm glad you agree. But yeah, I like the. It's more of an elaborate story, is what I want for this channel. I don't want just like an 8-minute summary of like my furry life, how it changed me and everything. So I don't want a quick summary of it. We're supposed to be talking about personal stories on this channel for Crafty Arts, so that's what I intended to be. So, you know, gotta nut up and make it that way. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be, you know, chasing the latest happenings like I am with this idubbz video. But you know, I'm a fan of idubbz, so I felt like, I needed to say some things that I don't think were being said. I feel like there's too many people that are sensitive over words. At the same time, there's a whole crowd of people that are needlessly seething over someone changing for probably the better, or just adjusting their career. Just, you know, just come on.
That's it.
Alright, let's do this. Last recording before I gotta go. Alright. This one's going to have a live action intro too, definitely. Alright. Though I am still going to introduce myself. Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and this is Crafty Arts. A couple of friends at the job were talking about their kids getting bullied at school. I ended up with a episode of flashbacks when I got home. A breakdown, a series of incidents flashing through my brain. A series of past incidents. Just type it in. Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and this is Crafty Arts. Let's go there. Hey, I just realized, oh, because I'm... Oh well. Hello, I'm Crafty Andy, and this is Crafty Arts. A couple of friends at the job were talking about their kids getting bullied at school. I ended up having a episode of flashbacks after I got home. A breakdown, a series of past incidents, a series of past incidents flashing through my brain, driving me into heavy breathing, and then ending in tears. Why won't it stop? Why can't I get it out of my head? When will these mental phantom pains leave? When will these mental phantom pains leave? I was isolated as a child, mainly alone with my imagination and toys to comfort me, confining myself away in my room. The setup is still clear to me. Earlier I had a few friends and soon they moved away by the time I hit the first grade. One of the kids I hung out with, one day I tried calling him to have him come over so we could hang out. When he gave me some lame excuse as why he couldn't, I told my mom I think he was lying. She told me, well, wait for him to call you then. And he never called. There was a clear gaming addiction going on too. I would have no gaming console until the 4th grade, however. 2 other kids I hung out with, I would end up just playing on their computer or console the whole time while they did other things by themselves. Funny, later on I would have other people do the same at my house too. The few friends I did make up until high school, one would be a grade behind and the other a different school altogether. Along with no friends in the 2nd grade, my bullying experience began. I was reading a book about the stars and sharing the interesting knowledge tidbits with the teacher, and the kid didn't like that too much. Without any prior interaction, he just looked at me and started calling me stupid. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. You're stupid. He later decided to start kicking my ass. This went off and on for a couple of years of him overpowering me and putting me in my place. This went off and on for a couple of years. At times, him chasing me away, making sure I got out as fast as possible. There was a few times I fought back, but then he overpowered me and put me back in my place. All it takes is one incident to alienate you from your peers. Insert scene from May. It came to a head in the 4th grade. I got sick one day and puked in front of the whole class. Having no friends... Actually, I should describe that a little more. It came to a head in the 4th grade. I got sick one day because I was wearing a sweater and we just had a surprise heat wave. And I puked right in the middle of class, right before the bell rang. So having no friends to begin with solidified my social status from then on. I was continuously singled out by my peers. I mean nearly all of them. People I never even learned the names of. I was the class plaything. Everything I did was wrong. How I talked, walked, dressed, having a Genesis over a Super Nintendo, the TV shows I watched, not enjoying sports, no interest in mainstream music or really any music at all were used as fodder against me. Telling my parents in the school didn't resolve the issue. Go figure. You figure that out. You tell the parents, you tell the school. It makes things worse. It doesn't work things out. Amazing. To spare the details of my loneliness and Why spare the details? My loneliness and isolation compounded. Despite having parents and a younger sibling, I subjected myself to solitary confinement in my room. Well, despite having parents. Despite having parents who would take interest in what I was interested in myself and talk to me, or at least want to talk to me, and having a younger siblings, I subjected myself to solitary confinement in my room, with a black and white television, some Hot Wheels, and my budding imagination to keep me company. Paranoia even set in, as I would spend the majority of my time at home lost in my own head, often falling into delusions, thinking people were watching me, going through these fits, reliving scenarios over and over again, having violent fantasies, killing my tormentors in gory fashion, meticulously making sure the blinds in my room covered the windows fully as to not allow anyone to possibly peek in, as if any of them might be somehow watching or stalking me. All of this in between overindulging in video games and television. I was bouncing off the walls of my skull. Or my brain was just bouncing off the walls within my skull. At times I tried to justify it, thinking I was being punished by God for things that I might do in the future. At times I would try to make sense of it and justify it even, thinking I was being punished for things I might do in the future. My kid logic proposing the idea of me being a murderer or serial killer or something of that nature. I was a little PTSD action boy. That's just me adding that's just me adding some levity. I don't actually think my dose of vitamin T trauma compares to soldiers forced to kill people in foreign lands, okay? Does that clear things up? Anyways, at 10 years old, I came home after yet another beating and held a knife to my gut. No one was home, and after having gangs of half a dozen kids surrounding me after class, I was prepared to stab myself and end it all at the age of 10 years old, sparing the world of my further existence and myself of further torment. My mom came home as I contemplated my action, and I'll never forget the thought I had. Good. Now she can watch me do it. She calmly grabbed it away and said that doing that would only make them happy. There would be times I would think back to this. In fact, many times I would think back to this for the next 20 or so years and consider if I should follow through with the action. Later, around the time when the principal was notified, classmates scolded, and then my mother coming to me in tears, saying how she is so sorry that I have to go through this. It just made me feel worse to see that. So, efforts were made to stay quiet about my situations from then on. A lot of the days leading up to my teens consisted of coming home to, "How was your day, Andy?" "Good." "How was your day, Andy?" "Good." "What did you do at school today? What did you learn?" "Nothing." Then closing the door to my room in order to be alone until dinner was ready, and then sleep. In an effort to be ignored or possibly fit in to some degree, I would refrain from expressing interest in anything, going so far as to be in denial if I liked something, such as Power Rangers or Marilyn Manson, for example, not even enjoying it by myself, fearing that it would somehow come out and come back to my peers, and they would have yet more ammo to use against me. More years went by, and when I came to the realization that there was no end in middle school, the mental breakdown started to really take effect. Just sitting in the library with other classmates one day, I was singled out again. Even though these were new people I never saw my entire life, we were in a new school thinking that this was going to be a reset. Yeah, it sure was a reset. Now I had new people coming after me, even though I was minding my own goddamn business, when one of them pointed to me and just said I was probably a faggot. And then it happened again. Fuck this, you know what? Fuck this. Just minding my own goddamn business when one of them pointed to me and said I was probably a faggot. Like, this kid was probably a faggot. And then it happened again. It started over. You see, when kids are picked on, it's often not with broken noses and being jumped in the locker room. It's little things to not leave much in the way of marks. Little shoves. Little kicks. Names. Pokes. Twisting of arms. A light punch here and there. I was a believer in the Christian God, and I spent the better part of the night begging him one time to just make it stop. When it continued on in the 9th and 10th grade, including stolen lunches and being stabbed with pencils, it kind of stopped in 10th grade. When it continued on throughout the 9th grade, including stolen lunches and being stabbed with pencils, I was a broken person at that point. Damaged goods. This was now in combination of self-hatred related into my developing sexuality, denying my bisexuality and my furry interests, and said I mostly had a number of fantasy... Oh, there we go. Denying my bisexuality, instead I had mostly a number of fantasy kinks solidified into my head space, thanks to the church with a nice sermon they did in the 6th grade that talked about how sexual deviancy, whether gay or other, would indeed send me to hell. The thing about trying to shame someone out of anything, be it a belief or state of being, all that ends up doing is making that status stronger, It's a doom loop, a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're told not to think of X, which leads you to think of X. There was no internet for me back then, all the way up until high school, so that cannot even be pointed to as an influence. It was all me. In combination of the loneliness, the shame, loss of my own world, I developed into a freak. A repeating cycle of porn addiction that I didn't get over until I became accepting of myself and overcoming my insecurities. With all of that on me, I also had no prospects for the future, just getting through the day. I knew how to keep my head down really well now, to hide my sense of emotion, to keep it silent, all to myself, lest I give someone more fodder. I was ready to just go into the same engineering field my father did and call it from there. I just wanted to be left alone, just like everyone said I would be. I was convinced. I woke up believing them. I started to form a catalyst in my mind, wishing for some divine end to the world. Oh, the disappointment I had when the year 2000 came and none of the disasters predicted came to be. There were journals, pretentious, arrogant journals of how fucked up the world was and the question of whether or not it's worth killing anyone over. Since my only two friends were on the outside, I never opened up to them about any of my emotions or what I was going through. Reason being, previously I had a number of people throughout my school life claiming to be or pretending to be my friend, only to turn on me when outside pressure of my peers came down on them. Despite making conversation with some kids in relation to some video games or shows we liked, I never tried to go beyond that basic connection and try to pursue any actual friendships. Not even with those types of kids that liked the same things I did, because I was at the same time in denial of my own social status. It's hard to describe these days. Like, I had some chance to make some actual friends. However, I found myself thinking I was above their level still, or that they wouldn't want to be friends, or that they were just... that I couldn't possibly be as much of a loser as they were, or some shit like that. There was no connection to my younger siblings either. Instead, I was a bully at home due to the stress at school. My parents couldn't make sense of it either, apparently, because they never really confronted me or make much effort to do so. And I don't want to hang on that too much, because there's a lot of good things about my parents. My parents obviously loved me. And no one's perfect. I became a big bully to my sister, and then became a bully to my I became a bully to my younger sister, and then she became a bully to my younger brother. Luckily, I would mature out of this mindset by high school, becoming more self-aware and learning empathy of what the fuck this was all about and what was going on. Being overly critical of everything. Again, like what was done to me, I was being overcritical of everything they did, hating everything they liked, as if my taste in entertainment was correct. It was all so familiar. Luck came to me in the form of one friend, Dan. He and his dad decided to give me a ride home one day to spare me the walk in the rain. We connected through our love of video games, mainly StarCraft, and he became the first person I could fully trust, emotionally. Not that I didn't trust any of my other two friends, I just purposely never told them anything because we came together to have fun and chill. They were one of the few escapes I had to the dark thoughts building up inside of me. In fact, many years later, I come clean with everything just as I did with Dan in my mid-teens to adulthood. I'd share with him my cringe-inducing journals about wanting to kill my peers, the scenarios I would relive over and over and over again, even up until my early 30s, they creep back into my head. Failing to catch myself, wasting mental energy, reimagining them in my favor, playing out violent revenge fantasies, imagining myself stabbing these kids in the eyes with pencils, punching them in the throat until their pipes clenched shut, cracking their skulls with desks and chairs. The darkest it got can only be compared to the movie The Final, where a bunch of high school kids trick their peers into coming to a party and then one by one disfiguring and disabling them. The acts in that movie were not too far off from the things I wanted to do to many of the ones in my school. You could say that I knew better than to follow through with such things. Perhaps that is true. It was another movie, Bang Bang You're Dead, about a school shooter being confronted with the dead spirits of the kids he murdered, stating, "When I killed you, I also killed all my possibilities." Overall, I considered the trouble not worth it. The other major factor that contributed to my... And let's break that down. Overall, I considered the trouble not worth it. I mean, let's break it down. Like what? I take revenge on some kids of mine in school, and then what? I go to jail for 20 to life? Okay, what did I accomplish there? Not really anything. Or I kill myself? What's my legacy then? Oh, I was a deranged person that killed a bunch of fellow peers and students, and then I died. The end. The other major factor that contributed to my anguish, however, were those fucking zero-tolerance policies implemented into the schools after the 1999 Columbine High School massacre. It was made clear to us in assembly that if you get into any fight, it doesn't matter who started it, you get punched and you punch back, you are both being suspended for the year and being forced to repeat the grade. The threat of being stuck in high school an extra year outweighed fighting back against my peers, who were still giving me shit. Being a Christian believer still, I was both content with just going through the motions of getting a regular working job, marrying a woman, and having kids to fill the basic expectations our general society had on me. At the same time, relishing in the idea of a grand apocalypse ending all this pain and misery I was going through. Still, repeatedly reading the book of Revelations and just, it got me so excited. The idea of it just all coming to an end like that. The conversations we had were, but again, when it came to my best friend, the conversations we had were engaging and meaningful. We didn't shy away from talking about anything, and it made me all the more better. Dan managed to become class president in the 11th grade and made me vice, much to the disdain of everyone. People were shocked to find out that he considered me one of his best friends. He already had friends he knew from elementary school, so now I found myself with an actual circle of friends that are in my own grade that I couldn't hide my anguish from, and many of the same classes. He also pushed me into social situations I otherwise would have never found myself in. Going to school dances, events, meetings, and parties. Going out of my comfort zone would better develop me socially, despite me primarily being a wallflower in these situations. To spare all the mundane details, there were ups and downs with this new group. Times I was singled out as the butt of jokes, active expressive hatred from Dan's first girlfriend, who happened to have known me since elementary school herself. But really, all that shit I was going through from other people just fizzled out as the years went by. At 11th and 12th grade, there were no more incidents. Collectively, people started growing into having more of a sense of basic empathy. And so did I when it came to my own home life. Me and my younger siblings would play video games and watch movies together, and at least form some kind of connection, if at least a guarded one. Shamefully, there was never any personal moments we had, no confiding into each other over our growing pains. We all, for the most part, kept to ourselves. Despite getting along with them then and now, I don't really consider myself as a good brother. I was too wrapped up in my own personal demons, self-shaming, and taking out my budding rage on the people literally closest to me, stopping just before a few years until adulthood. It was junior high school that I got my hands on Adobe Premiere video editing software for the first time. On my own, and with some packaged tutorial videos, I learned how to use it. Me and my new circle of friends and various on-good terms. Me and my new circle of friends and various on-good term classmates made a slew of videos. They are all online too, by the way. This led to a short-lived time that I was going from the silent kid, just getting through the day, to being someone that had a little more respect. The last 2 years compared to the 10 years prior were a breeze in comparison. Yeah. The last 2 years of high school compared to the 10 years prior were a breeze, all the way up until graduation. As I started my first job at Blockbuster thanks to my connections with Dan, and going into college, the effects of all my negative experiences all my negative experiences I had, including my personal shame that I had yet to get over too, would continue to challenge me for the next 6 years. I get my first real girlfriend at 19. The relationship would fail spectacularly due to my influence from my current friends, feeling guilty over having sex before marriage, and my other fantasies still conflicting within me. After many hours and years wasted at 21, I would finally declare God would have to understand this aspect of me, and became more accepting of myself. It would come to a further pass when I figured out Christianity was a lot of bullshit. Reading the Bible helps with that, by the way. But ironically, it was the debate between creationism and intelligent design and evolution that would actually create the schism in my brain that would lead to me becoming an atheist. And then lastly, I would get over my personal insecurities and stop letting the past and societal expectations weigh me down. I didn't just want a normal job. I didn't just want to have kids, and I had a lot of weird interests and ideas that I wanted to explore instead. And so I did. That is how I overcame my own personal demons. Overall, it involved a lot of luck. I have seen plenty of people I would consider a reflection of what could have been if one or two factors were not met. Overall, what got me through was first having parents who at least gave a shit. Yeah, I could complain about not pushing for meaningful conversations to make sure I'm doing all right, but that would be nitpicking. Home life, despite the tension between me and my siblings, was overall relief from the stress at school. I had my own TV, privacy, and video games. It was having a friend that I could confide in, one that was grounded in reality, not a believer in religion, and not lost in escapism like many kids we saw would be in through gaming and TV shows. Expanding my horizons in terms of understanding people in the world we live in gave me more of a grip on just how meaningless all this shit was. At freshman year, during the pep rally, we just sat there, sulking in our bleachers like some sourpuss, not giving a shit. But by senior year, we were cheering over the top like mocking, obnoxious douchebags at the pep rally because we just didn't give a shit. What also helped me was music from Metallica and Nine Inch Nails. I would be in denial over liking Marilyn Manson for the next several years, but thankfully Trent Reznor and Metallica, I guess, wasn't openly declared as anti-Christian, so I listened to songs like Heresy and The God That Failed in Peace. The words of Henry Rollins would forever stick with me. The I Know You bit was something I accidentally discovered one day while legally downloading music through my 56K modem. It was one of the blows to the head that made me understand how my situation was not at all unique. One of the best video games ever made would come out in 2005, Super Columbine Massacre RPG. It still exists today and can be downloaded for free. There's also a documentary around it called Playing Columbine. I would recommend it. Despite whatever your assumptions on the title may be, it delves into the feelings and ideas behind the massacre that the kids had. It brought me to understand just how much delusion of grandeur and arrogant self-importance can grow in a person who are isolated from the greater world around them that almost grew in me. There were times in school me and my friends had elitist superiority complexes ourselves compared to our much more popular and likely future successful peers. Thinking that because we were the outcasts and had more time to think for ourselves and contemplate our place in this world we live in, that somehow made us better human beings by default. That, and for me, it was belief in God and having some sense of morals. Pretty easy to be all puritanical when it comes to sex when no one would date you or have... Pretty easy to be all puritanical when it comes to sex and relationships when no one would dare date you and your sexual desires didn't exactly respond to the human straight form. Which leads me to the final piece of this puzzle. In 2008, my friend Dan was going through a rough spot in his life, and out of desperation to save him from self-destructing, I told him the one secret I kept from him and everyone all those years, that I'm a furry. And even now, I am... that I'm a furry. Even now, I cringe saying it still. That I am self-aware. Am I that self-aware at this point? Well, for lack of a better way to describe it, that's what I am. The last big push from Dan was to go to a furry convention, and after that, I ended up finding a new group of friends I could count on. As our high school circle broke apart and our friendships became strained, I became accepting of my bisexuality. What you normally get to do in high school when it comes to navigating through different relationships, I got to do myself, and after a few more years at 25, I found the first out of 2 people I would see to have as permanently part of my polyamorous marriage. It was through that and other friendly connections I ended up with a full-time job I actually don't despise, and being in a position to do more fulfilling stuff like this in my spare time. I cannot stress enough how much luck is involved here. If I happened to make no friends or the wrong friends in high school, I just as easily could have ended up as another statistic or some kind of NEET, leeching off mommy and daddy in his 30s. Instead of going outside my social comfort zones, I could have just stayed home and marinated in my loneliness instead. I just want to make it clear that I understand these things could have played out a lot differently if given the right circumstances or things happening outside of my control. Many people will try to claim divine intervention or simply lie about being pure of heart as to why they are better today. It's bullshit and likely leads to some cult, book, or pyramid scheme to sign up for. The only thing here I'm leading up to is like, subscribe, and consider becoming a patron. The only thing I'm leading up here... The only thing here I'm leading up to is like, subscribe, and consider becoming a patron. Thanks. There are many more stories to share. And I hope you enjoyed this one here. If you did, then you know what to do, as I just said. It helps. I would like to continue pursuing more original projects like this, so do your best to promote this. Oh, what's this? Oh boy. Yeah, this is the final one I wrote, right? Please tell me. Jesus, I gotta go. Good night. I gotta take a shower somehow. Fuck.